Gali, mera gali, spera gali nichta. No matter where in this wild, wacky, and sometimes wonderful world you might be, thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. Happy hump day, everyone. It is the evening after the evening before, and we're going to talk to one of our favourites who was in Spain, and it didn't rain on the Arsenal. Well, it may have rained on Lee's head. Let's rock and roll.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Look how he's just looking at the boys there in this picture, all happy. Thank you for joining. And for those listening on audio, Apple and Spotify, we appreciate you. Subscribe. Thanks for making us part of your day. And a lot of you will be listening on replay because you're watching the football. But this man has made it back from Spain and he's in Squad Central. It's been too long, Mr. Judges. My Gianni.
Yeah, it has been too long. Like, I'm lucky to be here. I'll tell you, I had a bleating. I don't know if anybody's done this, but I left my phone on the plane.
No.
What happened was I always take. I don't know. I always take my shoes off, put my phone in my pocket. Went to put my trainers on, and the phone slipped out onto the seat. Left. Went to check my train time, and where's my phone? You know what I mean? So over 2 hours, I was in the airport for them to retrieve it, but they got it, you know what I mean? So the airline was fantastic, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Fueling, it's part of British Airways, but they were so helpful. I can't thank them enough, you know what I mean? And when she finally brought my phone back, I'll give her a cuddle and all that, you know what I mean? She just without your phone. I didn't know what to do. I was actually thinking, how am I going to get hold of Sophie and say about this Highbury Squad? I was in a panic, and not only that, I didn't know what train to get or whatever, you know what I mean? So,
bless your heart.
Yeah,
there's that sinking feeling. My niece did it. She was flying from London to Baltimore. Yeah, she left her purse. She never does that, and her purse must have just slipped out of the side pocket.
Yeah.
And then Tony last year did it when we were going to Italy. Doesn't ever do it, and literally we're coming out of arrivals and she's like, oh my God, I think I dropped my phone. It's the worst feeling in the world, because once you cross that line, you can't go back.
There's no going back when you cross that line,
Well, good evening, squaddies. At ease to each and every one of you. Thanks so much for joining. Please make sure you listen to our Chief Like Officer, Tammy Steels. We are on the road to 20K, very close. So keep hitting those like buttons, and some of our favorites in the house, Carol, PW, let's see, Trev is here as well, Ian's here, BX Gunner's here, and I think an old geezer called Gooner Russ might be in the old chat as well, and MK, one of our favorites, is here too.
Not talking to him at the moment.
Oh no, you guys in a tiff?
Yeah.
No, you and Gooner Russ?
Yeah. I
don't believe it.
I didn't see him at the last home game, and he's messaged me to say that he's not going to be there for Manchester City at home because he's
outrageous.
Fishing. If he said he was cheating on Jen and going out of a nice page 3 girl, I could understand it.
Oh, but dear.
Fishing. Gone down in my estimations as Russ.
Oh, I tell you what, there's nothing. You ever been fishing?
Not for me.
No?
No.
Listen, we will get to the football eventually, people. We will start talking about football in about 30 seconds. But there's something so serene and special about fishing and just being out on the water or a lake. Lee, let me tell you, I think you need to do a fishing trip. You won't. It's not like everyone thinks, oh, it's a stinky, smelly thing. It isn't. It's very cathartic. I think we could turn you.
Perhaps Russ will take me one time, then we'll go fishing. He's a very, very good fisherman, as it happens, to be fair. He's not great at a lot of things, but fishing is his forte, so
he's great at taking pictures of birds. I mean, you mentioned page 3. I'm just saying he's really good at taking pictures of birds.
You know what? I'd accept that, but fishing, you know what I mean? So perhaps we're going on a fishing day out in the sun. It's got to be in the summer, right? Okay.
Definitely. Lee's a summer person. He loves the sun. I'm sure there's a Dubai winter break coming up for Lee shortly. But you were in Spain, and it did rain because Tom Canton sent us a video, and it was very gloomy. But there was nothing gloomy about the result.
No.
Lee, you were there. You know, there's a lot of moaning and complaining about us, mostly from other fans. You go away in the Champions League, you walk away with 3 points. That stadium was lit yesterday. The atmosphere, I thought, sounded, I wasn't there, but Atletico Madrid's stadium's unbelievable. And it reminded me a little bit of that. Firstly, talk to us about getting there and, the stadium atmosphere, and then we'll get into the team and stuff.
Like Bilbao, if anybody's ever been there, it's an unbelievable place. Lovely, lovely city, so friendly and everything like that. Got there on the day, pouring down with rain, and it rained all day and all night, and it was like windy, and it was a little bit of a nip in the air. Like the next day, sun shining, goes down for a little walk because there was for a coffee, and the fans were already out in the bars and all that. Like walking past, because I had my Arsenal shirt, like training top on. You know, high fives, good luck, and I couldn't believe it. Like, you know what I mean? They were so friendly. I've been fortunate enough to go to Atletico Madrid, been fortunate enough to go to Real Madrid. But the atmosphere in that stadium yesterday, before they come out and when they come out, was electric. I haven't experienced that for a very, very long time. You know, France is very, very, Paris Saint-Germain, very intimidating. They weren't an intimidating atmosphere. I think it was just a very, very loud, you know, get behind, flags, colours, all on the shirts. Every one of them, red and white shirts. You know what I mean? I was looking around in awe of it. I honestly was. So the atmosphere, I don't know if you get that or generates on the TV what it was like. It was tough. And I don't know why people are moaning, because that to me is a perfect away performance in Europe. I get a little bit umpy about it because it was the same sort of performance against Liverpool. But I think in Europe, I think it's more acceptable, where it's because it's a cup competition, now it's a league format at the moment. But it's ain't about winning nothing at this moment in time. It's about getting through. So it's, you know,
yeah, exactly.
I thought it was a wonderful performance. I thought defensively very, very good. Listen, I don't like that midfield setup, and if they was to do that at Newcastle, I wouldn't be happy with it. Like, I think you have to take a few risks down the line, but ultimately, you know, a point away from home in Europe's not a bad result if you win your home games. But listen, he got everything spot on yesterday. So I thought, like, the setup, the team selection, you know, there was a lot of people calling for Saliba to come straight back into it, like, you know, but at the end of the day, he didn't, you know what I mean? Mascara was absolutely outstanding again, like, you know what I mean? So I've just Liverpool have scored again in the 90th minute.
No, have they? They're such, damn it.
Unbelievable. They've scored 4 times now in the 90th minute. I know, like, you have to give credit.
It's a habit. Do you know what, Lee? Does that not remind you of United in the 90s?
Yes. Listen, it reminds you of a good side. If Arsenal do it, would be criticised, but they do it, and you know, they've got a lot of firepower, like, you know. But that we go on to that performance and that setup by Mikel against Liverpool was not a good setup in my opinion, and it proved to be. But yesterday I thought it was, and I thought, like, defensively we was outstanding, and then the substitutions, which again Mikel's getting criticised for it, like, you know what I mean? Like, I tell you what, I don't get it. If he says he has cinnamon on his cornflakes, people will have a moan up. I don't understand what
it's
goes
crazy.
on.
It's crazy. Let's take it one step at a time, right? So you mentioned the midfield, and let's start there before we escalate it to, like, you know, defense, and then we'll talk about the attack a little bit. And then Lee's going to give us his starting 11 for Manchester City and his prediction before we get him out of here tonight. So you mentioned the midfield and that you didn't like it, probably the one thing that you didn't like. So it was Zubimendi and Declan Rice. Declan Rice, on the eye, it's so weird to me. Felt like this was not one of his best games, but it also felt like an in the shadows games. And these are the numbers. You can see him on screen for our audio listeners. 100% aerial duels won, 100% cross accuracy, 100% dribbles completed, 47 passes completed, 6 long passes completed, 3 chances created, 2 blocks, 1 big chance created, played 89 minutes on a booking. Then you got Zubimendi, Lee, 1 assist, 4 tackles, 94% accuracy passing, 58 touches, 83% accurate long balls, 100% of his tackles won, 2 recoveries. And then sandwiched in between them, you have Mikel Merino, who, whatever you say about his performances for Arsenal, he's a player in form, he's on fire. He scored 4 goals in 2 games for his country. I think, again, a player, and we have a few of them, and I use this terminology a lot, that works in the shadows. What didn't you like about the midfield because sometimes numbers, I'm not a numbers girl, I'm an eye girl. Talk to me, Lee.
No, it's not got a lot of creativity to it. That's all that it hasn't. You know what I mean? If there was, I wouldn't say there's I'm never ever going to criticise Declan Rice, but if there was one thing that he could prove on, it's probably his creativity. But he's got everything else. Zubimendi, by the way, has been fantastic in there, and Merino is neat and tidy. And defensively, the way that we set up was very, very strong. And listen, we didn't dominate the midfield, but we didn't lose that battle. And I don't think you'd probably say the game when we played that against Liverpool, it was the same. It just doesn't give you that little bit of a spark. And I think that what it is, it's a midfield that says we're not going to take no risks. You know, and I'm a believer that with this defence we've got at the moment, which is outstanding, I think we can play 2 in there and play a more creative player in it. And that doesn't mean to say that creative player, so if he's not going to work and track back and get into shape and all that, because that would happen. My argument is, if Martin Odegaard's fit, does he play? Yes, he does. So why are you not going like for like in there? Like, you know, now I understand that there's a decision to make, and if I've got a criticism of Mikel, and it's not a criticism, I'm just saying it. It's easier for him to leave out an 18-year-old kid than an experienced Spanish international that's playing really, really well. So I get that, like, you know. So there are things that are good about it. Listen, if they play that against Liverpool, I'm not going to lie, Soph, I'll be very, very disappointed.
You mean against Man City?
Sorry, against Manchester City. Did I say Liverpool? Sorry, Manchester City. Like, you know, I'll be very, very disappointed by that. But because I think that when you're at home, you've got to be a little bit more expansive, a little bit more creative. But it's not about. It's about those games in Europe. About away from home are about
making
not
points.
Losing.
Yeah.
When
don't lose them.
We've got to get the points, you know what I mean? Because Liverpool, whether you say they're lucky or not, they're not going to drop many points. So you can't go to places and go, I'll tell you what, we've got to take a few risks. If we're going to win this league, we're going to have to take a few risks. In the Champions League, you don't have to take risks. Do you know what I mean? Like, even in a 2-legged game, you've got 1 home and 1 away. Block it out away from home, do the business at home. So it's a different mentality. That's all I'm saying. Got no problem with that midfield yesterday. And even there was a little thing on it, Soph, when the substitutions come, I thought, right, he's going to go Merino up top, Eze into the 10. and Trossard over to the left. He didn't. He kept it as it was and put Trossard. It worked. So you know what I mean? Like
Look, Lee, you know what it is, mate, is a lot of the times it's like the manager has got it wrong on many occasions, but we have to be as loud in our praise as we are in our criticism, right? And you said it perfectly, Lee. When you're the Premier League and the Champions League, 2 different things. And one of the things we've criticised him for is squeezing everything out of a starting 11, not rotating players enough. And the title of the show is Arsenal Bench Press, because when you look at our bench, and this is what I was saying to Potsy on Monday, I'm like, Potsy, am I mad, or is our bench better than Liverpool's? You know, it feels like that, you know, he's learned from his mistakes too. And I think the one thing people are confused about is, well, if you can bring Waneri on in the Premier League for Odegaard, why can't you bring him in Europe? But when you're away from home, I think he still wants Ethan to learn defensively off the ball, Lee. And in a game away from home in the Champions League, I don't blame him for not wanting to take high risks, like you said.
100%, totally agree with you. Like, you know, I would have, if you'd be really honest with me and put me on the spot, I wanted to see Waneri playing that, like, you know what I mean, because I think would have been a little bit more exciting. But I have to say, after the game, I've come out of there buzzing. I was more excited.
Me too.
You know, I was buzzing. I thought the last 20 minutes we was fantastic. You know, and I listen, there are times when I think you can criticise the manager, like the game against Liverpool, because it didn't work. So if you're entitled to criticise. Why would you want to criticise anything about that performance yesterday when you've won? You know what I mean? Like, and I felt we won that game a lot better, and it was a lot better performance than against Man United. It was a lot better performance against a better team than Man United, if I'll be really honest. I know Man United won there last year in the Europa League, but that's a different competition. And I just think that you've got to have a different mentality in Europe than when you play in the league. And I think last season, Soph, the reason that we done well in Europe, because we got that mentality that we've got now, where we go a little bit more defensive. But the thing is, when you look at the game against PSG, who were deserved winners of the competition, Arteta looks on his bench in those two games. He had 4 kids on there that had never played for Arsenal. Now he looks on the bench. It was like full of players that could come in, and that was without Saka, Odegaard on that bench. You know what I mean? And you could say Havertz as well. Like, you know what I mean? That 3 that would be possible starters, definitely 2. So, you know, Ben White not on there as well. So, like, all of a sudden, there's options on there. And at the end of the day, so if yesterday there was so many different options that he could have done. He could have brought on a Waneri. He could have put Eze into the fit. He could have put Marino up top, but he didn't. He went with the 2 guys that have got a point to prove, and they done that. I think, you know what I mean, like, and that's what you want. So I was saying this yesterday, like, you know what I mean, Martinelli. There's 2 things Martinelli can do, right? He can roll up his sleeves and say, I'm going to prove you wrong and everything like that. Or he can sit there and sulk and then look for a transfer in January. I know what he's going to do, and you know what he's going to do. And he proved it yesterday, what he's going to do. And Trossard, you know, is one of those guys that, you know, the song really typifies what he is. It's Trossard again, because he does it. He does it. He comes on and he does those sort of things. You start.
He did it in the Premier League as well, didn't he? The Zubi's header.
Yeah. He comes on and he makes a contribution. And at the end of the day, you're not going to win this team. We're not going to win anything, Sophie, with 11 players, because that's what we've had the last 3 years, and we've not won anything. I think in the summer, whenever they have their discussions, what is it that's going to take us to the promised land? What is going to get us over the line? A bigger and better and stronger squad than anybody else. We might not have the best 11, but we've got a better squad. I'll tell you this now: if Liverpool at this moment in time, right, and this might come back and bite them, I don't know. Van Dijk is playing every single game at this moment in time, right? He's also playing for Holland every single time. Like, it might come towards the back end of the season, he's not going to be there because he's blown out or whatever. I don't know, but like, we've had that in the past. So we're not going to be in that position now, like, you know. Saliba, I guarantee you, this time last season would have played with that ankle injury. The fact of the matter is, no, we can get away with you. Declan Rice being rested for a game against Nottingham Forest. He finished the Euros, and 3 weeks later, 3 weeks to the day, we played Wolves at home, and Mikel Arteta had to play him and Saka because he couldn't trust his squad. Now you're leaving them out. And, you know, don't get me wrong, there's people that have criticised that, like, you know. So, listen, everybody's got an opinion. Everybody, you know, you pick a team every week. I pick a team every week. But my team doesn't win. Your team doesn't win. It doesn't lose neither, right? Mikel, whatever team Mikel picks, that's the one that's tested. That's the one that's tried. That's the one that's going to win or lose. My team, I picked my team yesterday. It doesn't matter what. It's never going to play. You know what I mean? I can only pick a team, and Mikel goes along with it, like, you know. And that's how it is. And he got everything right again last night. I come out of the ground, Sophie, on Saturday, 3-0 winners, and I buzzing from that performance, because that's the sort of performances that I want to see us do in the league, because I haven't seen him at home. And people are going, he's still got to go though, hasn't he? Still got to go, Lee. You got, you know what I mean? I don't understand.
I don't understand that either.
I understand. I was speaking to a couple of Spurs mates. We were sitting, you know, like, you know, on the football on Sunday, like, you know, and that they can't stand Arteta. What? And I said, why can't you stand him? He said, because he's this and he's that, and he gets out of his area and he's out of his technical area. Like, don't stand. He has to just stand on the edge of it. He can't get inside of it and all that, like, you know. And I'll go, oh, yeah. So if opposition are hating him, he must be doing something right. That's how I look at it, you know?
Yeah. Lee, you know, what's interesting is they hate that he's made us relevant again and competitive again.
Yeah.
They're ready. They're just waiting for us to fall in the spotlight again towards the end of next season. They're just waiting for their moment. We haven't even faltered really yet, other than, you know, the game against Liverpool. We didn't deserve to lose that game. We absolutely didn't. Even Arne Slot said it. But you could see even now stupid comments like, what's his name? Charlie used to play for South. Was it QPR, the forward?
Oh, yeah.
Talking about, you know, starters versus finishers. It doesn't. He could save a child from a burning building, and someone will find fault in how he did it. Right? It's ridiculous. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this, because one of the areas that you and I have talked about a lot, and we wanted him to learn, is that whole, you know, rotating players and stuff. And what I think this has all done is, again, you saw it with Trossard and Martinelli a little bit the season before last. You saw it with Timber and Benjamin White. You've seen it a little bit, you know, at that left back position. But really, the competitiveness hasn't been across the board. And what I loved against, you know, seeing Trossard and Martinelli, two players who've been much maligned. We've all criticised Martinelli over the last few months. And he has come into this game, and within 36 seconds, beautiful ball, right? But he kept his composure. We've seen that goal against Chelsea, Lee. And then to top it all off, it was, you know, Trossard again getting involved. Trossard, who I think is such a brilliant super sub. And if he could embrace that role, I think is important to the team. But the two of them, they come on and they totally change the game. This is what Arsenal have lacked, Lee. This game-changing, oh, God, who are we going to bring off the bench? There's no game changers. When you're an opposing team and you've been running for like 70, 75 minutes, and then you see Trossard and Martinelli coming on, or Waneri coming on, that is a massive difference. I think that's the difference between us winning the league or winning the Champions League this season.
Or any trophy. Any trophy.
Any trophy, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Because I think you're spot on. Listen, someone said to me yesterday, which is a very good point. I can't take the praise for this point myself. Martinelli and Trossard for the last 2.5 years have been going at it as competition for the last 2.5 years. Like, you know, who's going to play? Where else is that? Where else is that happening on the pitch in the team? Saka's not had that competition. You know what I mean? Like, Havertz hasn't had that competition. Rice hasn't had that competition. Partey hasn't had that competition when he played there. The two central defenders have not had that competition there. The left back might have done in Calafiori and Miles Lewis-Skelly. The last time it happened, Sophie, was when the two goalkeepers were going at it. And look how the form of they were. Ramsdale dropped, and I don't think Raya was fantastic until he left. So they've had that competition all the time. Now, all of a sudden, it's all round. So, you know what I mean? Maybe it's took a little bit of a toll on these two players. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you're going into a team meeting. I don't know if I'm going to be playing. Oh, it's Trossard today. There's a deflation. Trossard then goes, well, I played well, and it's Martinelli. And then you see Saka still on the team sheet, so and so. And I'm not saying having a go at those players; they've been fantastic as well. But you know what I'm saying, like, you know, now you look at the right back, you got Timber and Ben White. I don't know, you know what I mean. Ben White does he reminded us at the beginning of the season, when in pre-season, that he's still about. You know, the two fullbacks, you know, is that the central defence. Saliba's got a competition now, but can you believe that? William Saliba's got competition for his place. So it's crazy. You could, you know, Declan Rice, right? And I'm pretty sure if you spoke to Declan, he don't want to be rested anytime. He loves playing football, like. But he would have thought to himself, "Oh, I've been left out here. Hold on, like, you know what I mean? I'm going to have to up my game." And I thought he was fantastic yesterday, considering he got a booking, like, you know, and you know, Odegaard. He's got to, you know, he's had no competition for. He's Odegaard has been able to play for 8 months poorly, Sophie, without anybody pushing him now. He cannot do that now. He cannot do that now. If he plays like he did last season, he won't be captain of Arsenal come the end of it, because his performances have got her up, and I'm pretty sure they will do. Martinelli, like, you know what I mean, like, performance yesterday. I don't know if that's good enough, Soph, to get him into the team on Sunday, but that's what a problem that is for the manager.
It's a great problem.
Great problem, and that is what they need. And the thing that Mikel's got to do now is he's got to keep 25 players very, very happy. Now, you guarantee you're keeping 11 happy because they're playing. It's the ones there. So he's got to rotate and be clever. I think he's doing it okay at the minute. I think there will be a couple of changes again on Sunday, but I don't know who. I'm hoping that that Wanyeri comes back into the midfield because it's a home game. I'll be disappointed if Mikel goes to a defensive show. That way that we played yesterday is fantastic away from home in Europe, and maybe even the odd game against Liverpool, because you might get away with it, like, you know. I don't want to see that at home, and if he was to play that at home, I'm looking at him and going, "Well, hold on a minute, you've got to get us over the line this season, and cautiousness is not going to do it. You've got to be brave and bold."
So I totally agree with all that you've said, 100%. And we've talked about a lot of positives, and one of the negatives, and, you know, of course, they're going to clip Eza coming off and Martinelli scoring within 36 seconds. My God, people have short memories. Seriously. You know, now it's like, well, you should start Martinelli down the middle. Stop it, everybody. Like, the beauty about this squad is that, like Lee says, let's see who he picks for the City game. Let's see if he shows them too much respect and goes too defensive. And at the end, Lee's going to give you his starting 11. But, you know, what I love is that Lee, you know, like Saka over the last, 3 or 4 seasons, less so in, you know, 22, 23, 23, 24, because you got those 15 goals from Martinelli, 15 from Odegaard, 15 from Havertz, 15 from Saka. But for the large portion of his Arsenal career, Saka has had to carry this team. And without him, we've been lost. What I like is, even if you compare it to the Forest game, right? Madueke, I thought, was brilliant against Forest, and I know you do too. And I think he's been a really bright spark. Maybe his final ball yesterday wasn't the best, but at the same time, Gyokeres should have buried a couple of chances, bread and butter. But after he got his head hit, I'm sorry, that you cannot be seeing the game the same. And Mikel was right to take him off. All this nonsense about why is he taking off Gyokeres? So Eza doesn't have a really great game on the left, whereas he did at the weekend. Madueke was prolific, I thought, against Forest. And he had a good game, a decent game. Not everyone has to have their best game on the same day. It's just that you don't want everyone having their worst game on the same day, Lee.
100%. 100%. And Sophie, it's very rarely that you get everybody playing to their maximum. You'll probably get 6 players, 7 players, the others playing okay. And I thought Madueke, like yesterday, was fantastic at the way he stretched the team, stretched them, beat the man and all that. But I'll be honest, his final ball, I've watched it today. His final part or his decision making on 4 or 5 occasions was poor, it wasn't good enough. But he got himself in that position. It was him that got himself in that position by ducking, twisting and turning, getting into those positions. And at the end of the day, another day, he puts 3 of them across and we score goals. So I think you've got to look at the positive as much as the negative from that point of view. Eze didn't have a good game. So what? You know what I mean? I thought he had a very good game against Forest. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you now, his role will be different away from home in Europe and maybe even away from home in the Premier League to what it is at home. We'll have a little bit more of a licence if that is the way Mikel's going to go. And I'm pretty sure that he will. And also, if he has a Wanyeri in there or he has an Odegaard or whatever, even himself playing in that position in the middle, they will get opportunities. Now, there's the decision that I think that's got to be made on Sunday. Is it Eze in there or is it Wanyeri? That's the decision, you know. And it's a big decision. That's Mikel's and I don't think that Marino should be in that. And I think he's done very well, Marino. It may be, you know, that Zubimendi misses out in this game and they play with the left and right and balance it out. I don't know. I don't think that they will. I don't think Mikel will. But this is what's the intriguing thing at the moment. Listen,
Lee,
we knew what the starting 11 was every week. You know what I mean?
We did.
We don't.
We
now.
did. Let me ask you, wouldn't you, considering how Eze played for Palace in the cup final, to me, this seems like a game for him to have like his true arrival at Arsenal. And that goal against Forest, the Gyokeres goal, I love. That's one of my favourite Arsenal goals in a long time. Speed, Calafiori, ping, Eze, ping, Gyokeres, Bosch, back of the net. And I think City are vulnerable at the back and we've got speed. And I was talking to Potsy about it on Monday's show. It's like the whole, I feel the need for speed. To me, it feels like Wanyeri can come on as a 20, 25-minute sub if we need a little bit of a change. And Eze gets the start. I think after the game in Europe, not having played great and pushing him on the left, I think it would be good for his confidence. Because what I was telling the squaddies the other day was Rebecca Lowe, who's a Crystal Palace fan, hosts NBC Premier League here, says that he could dip in and out of the season. Like he'll go a few games, not have like a stinker, but he won't be as effective. And he has that, you know, in his characteristics of a season. So I would keep throwing him in there for confidence.
Well, listen, if that's something in his games, so like, he's got to get that out of his game because he's got. But you're at Arsenal now. You can't afford not to be at it every week because it's a different ball game. And the reason may be, and I'm not having a go at Rebecca at all on that. Like, there are times when Crystal Palace haven't got the ball. You know what I mean? Like, so they have to be like,
fair.
All that, like, you know, we're going to be a team that's on the front foot a lot more. So he's going to have to get used to being on the front foot a lot more, like, you know. And listen, when you're playing in a system that is like that, you can fade in and out of games. It don't matter, like, you know, because that's the way it is. But not at Arsenal, you know what I mean? Like, you know, if Crystal Palace go away from home, I don't know, to West Ham, or they go away maybe to a Newcastle or an Aston Villa and get a point, that's a good point. For us, it's not. You know what I mean? So we've got to be on the front foot at times and in majority of the games. I think that you're right what you're saying, like, and I get that when people are going, oh, Eze should come in and all that. But don't forget, I think Wanyeri, he's been on the pitch on the 2 home games and started those 2 games. We've scored 8 goals.
He's been on the pitch when I think we were 1-0 up, 7 goals, but yeah, 8 goals. Yeah.
7 goals. I don't think that should be taken lightly. No,
100%.
You know, so for me, I'm going to bring back Wanyeri and keep Eze on the left for this game, because I think that it just gives us a little bit more of the ball, but we're still exciting. And then again, 25 minutes from the end, if you need to feed Martinelli either coming down the centre or on the wide. I get what you're saying, and people will probably go along with it. If you put Eze into the middle, you can play Martinelli on the left. That's another thing to do. But I don't know how Manchester City are going to approach this. If they're going to come home, going to get the space. But listen, we've beaten them on the last couple of occasions. It was a game when Martinelli come back as a substitute. Remember, he scored the goal when he came on as a half-time substitute. I think it's, listen, we're all going to have different opinions on this team sheet. There's going to be like, you might have a different one to me, and the people in the chat will have a different one. And it's going to be up to what Mikel does. You know, there could even be a fault of maybe leaving Gyokeres out of this one. I hope he doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, and puts Marino up there. Like, you know, that's an option.
Right. Okay, so hold on, because we're going to get your 11, right? We've got what we've got. We've got another 15 minutes with you here, Lee, before we go off for your recording. Yeah. So listen up, guys. Before we get to your starting 11 and what you would do against Man City, it's going to be fascinating as well, that game this weekend. I want to talk to you about the starters versus finishers again, and the competitive kind of fire that's been lit at the Arsenal all over again. This guy Mosquera, Lee. This guy Mosquera. So you've been around the block. You've been watching the Arsenal, and I'm not trying to age you, mate. I'm just talking about knowledge and pedigree here, right? You have been around, and we've seen big players come in and take time to settle. We've seen unknown gems come in, and Arsenal fans are going to make out some of them that they know exactly who he was. You know what? Many do and many did not. And he has come in and played like a Rolls Royce. He actually reminds me of Saliba. He did not put a foot wrong yesterday, and 2 minutes of just adjustment at Liverpool, and stood next to his captain, who, by the way, this guy, forget about it, man. He's been better than Saliba for the last year. I don't care what anyone says. I said it on the show with Potsy on Monday. Big Gabby is it. He is like the truth. He is him. But Mosquera, and also how lucky is he, Lee, to come in and play alongside a Big Gabby. And then when you look at how much we paid for these 3 players combined, £67 million. Talk to me about being there and seeing Mosquera with your own eyes.
Oh, well, I've been blown away by him so far. I think he's been outstanding. I said yesterday he starts on Sunday. Where, you know, maybe I'm a little bit rash with that, because I think that what will happen now, and I think this is a great thing, is that Saliba can't just stroll around in training now in the next couple of days. He's got to prove that he is really 100% fit and ready to go. Now, if he's not, Mosquera comes in, and I've got no hesitation that he plays. I'm not having this thing of, oh, well, it's against Haaland and all that, like, you know. Listen, he's played up against good players so far. Listen, Haaland's a beast, we all know that, but that's how Big Gabby will be taking care of him. You know what I mean? Like, and he's powerful enough and everything like that. And I think that at the end of the day, look, he's done nothing wrong to be left out. Now, you could say that Wanyeri has not done nothing wrong to be left out, but football's harsh. Football's a harsh game and all that. Like, how I see it now is that Mosquera has got the shirt, right? It's up to Saliba to get it back. Now, how does Saliba get it back? Well, there's 2 ways. You know what I mean? Like his reputation, or he puts in some real hard yards in training. If it's me, and it's not too short, I think he's been out for 3 or 4 weeks now. You know what I mean? Like,
I was going to ask you about this. So it's funny. Great minds think alike. But yeah, go on, Lee.
And I don't know. Maybe like, you know, it would have been nice if it would have been Port Vale this week. Give him some minutes then and then, like, you know. So I think it, for me, I would play Mosquera in this game and then play Saliba against Port Vale. That's what I would do.
Wow.
It's a tough.
That's, you know, a big call.
Massive call. Listen, if Saliba was out for a week, or it was, say, like, you know, how long ago was it we played Liverpool? Like, it's
3 weeks.
So
no, 2 weeks. Not last weekend. The weekend before. 2. It's going to be 3 weeks this weekend. Or is it 2? Yeah, 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Yeah, if you played Liverpool on the 31st, so 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so it's 3 weeks he's been out. I think it's how well he does in training in the next couple of days depends on it. Now, the one thing that we haven't got privilege on is what's going on in training, right?
Correct.
So, like, Mikel has. So, Mikel will, I'm pretty sure, be observing training. And listen, the other thing is to say to Saliba is, you know, how are you feeling? Is the ankle at 100%? If it's 80%, now listen, Sophie, if it was 80%, he'd be playing on Sunday. If he was 70%, he would be playing on Sunday. But we're in a position now, if it's not 100%, you know, we can, and at the end of the day, isn't that a great thing that you can, like, these guys now can recover from their injuries and whatever. This time last season, we'd be all busting and like wanting to find out to see if Saka would be fit for this game. Are you worried? I'm not worried. I hope Saka is fit and on the bench for the last 20 minutes of the game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at Saka to get minutes at Port Vale as well. Like, if it's the case, but I'm not saying, we've got to start, you know, Saka and everything like that. Like, you know, so this is the thing that we've got at this moment in time. Like, you know,
it is some squad, Lee.
It is some squad.
It's a very exciting squad.
Mosquera doesn't deserve to be left out of this team, right? He doesn't deserve it. You know, the performances prove that, like, you know. And for me, Saka and Saliba on form of last season and the form that they've done are automatic players for our team when they're 100%. But they're not 100%. Neither of them, because Saliba hasn't trained or played for 3 weeks. 4 weeks for is it 4 weeks now for Saka? It might be even more than that. Like, it might be, yeah, I think it's 4 weeks because it was the Leeds game that he went down in. So we don't need to rush these guys back. And the reason we don't need to rush them back is because the guys that are in the shirt at the moment are doing really, really well. And so we've conceded 1 goal from a corner, like, you know, and in you know, the defense is good
and a great free kick.
I was talking about this yesterday. What has Miles Lewis-Skelly done wrong to not be in this team? Nothing. Let's get that right. Nothing. You know what I mean? Like, he probably might have not trained or might not been. I didn't think he was as quite as fit as he was in pre-season, you know what I mean? Like, but that's, you know, sometimes it takes people a little bit longer. He's 18 years of age, first full season. Mikel's gone with Calafiori, and he's been proved right.
And Calafiori, let's be fair, another, you know, I've been worried about him defensively, and I still think he can be a bit of a hot mess at the back. But my goodness, his forward play and his passing has been amazing. And we haven't even gotten to Piero and Capia yet, and what he's going to offer the squad, because he could oust Calafiori.
He can.
You know, maybe Miles is going to be reverting back to his midfield football career. You know, Lee, we don't know.
And that is the great thing. Like, the interesting thing now, Sophie, is like, you know, listen, come Sunday, when that team sheet comes through the door, you know, wherever you are, and Saliba's in, I'm not going to be disappointed. If Mosquera's in there as well, like Mosquera's in there, I'm not going to be disappointed, right? If Saka's on the bench, I'll be happy, like, you know what I mean? that's how I am at this moment in time, like, you know. And then what is an amazing? Okay, go to Port Vale on the Wednesday. Who does he play at left back? If he does play Nketiah, is it? I don't even know.
Nketiah.
Nketiah. If he plays him, where does Lewis Martin? It might be that he plays in midfield, and then all of a sudden, I think that probably will be his best position in time. So,
and we've seen him play in midfield against Man City, Lewis Skelly, where he gave Haaland all the old unafraid attitude.
I've got no problem with wherever they go. Yeah, if you look at the team that's probably going to play against Port Vale, it's probably good enough to do well in the league.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and no disrespect to Rob Holding, and no disrespect to Callum Chambers and all these guys. Yeah. If Saliba was out, the drop off would have been, we've got to play him. We've got to play him. We have not got that position now. Like, so it comes down to what the manager says and does, and it's down. It's going to be on the manager to make those decisions.
All right, so let's talk about the gaffer before you give us. We've teased them enough with the Man City and your official starting 11, but I just wanted to tap into the gaffer just a little bit, Lee, because I feel like, you know, there was the rumor of the Josh Kroenke meeting and Berta coming in, no nonsense guy, totally transformed, you know, our pedigree in the marketplace in the summer. You look at the players that we've got. Blah. But it feels to me that also when you do the assessment of last season too, and you look at injuries, you look at minutes played, you look at the investment, you look at the ROI, you look at all of those things, he's got to know and understand. And it feels like his brain is operating and moving a little bit differently, Lee, this season with regards to, we've already seen it, even his subs, he's making a little bit earlier. You know, maybe he didn't play Saliba because Mosquera is actually going to start. And if Saliba was going to start against City, maybe he would have come on for like 15 minutes for game time. Maybe he's saving Waneri because, you know, he trusts him in a game like City where he wants to maybe play really offensively in the first 45 minutes and then he can make adjustments and bring Mikel Merino on. What do you see? Rebecca Lowe also told us that he seemed much calmer on the sidelines. You've been there, you've been to the games, you've seen it. I feel Mikel has a different vibe this season, or am I off base?
No, I'm going to say it there. I'm very disappointed with Mikel and the way he set up against Liverpool. I think it showed a weakness that we was a little bit scared of him, a little bit worried about him. Like, you know, I felt we should have gone up there and give it a real good go. And if we'd have got beaten, I don't think it would. I think it would have not been as damaging. You know what I mean? Like if you'd have got smashed, we're never going to get smashed. But do you know what I mean? If we'd have gone there, give it a real good go and lost 2-1, like Atletico did today, they lost 3-2. It's disappointing, but it ain't the end of the world. I think at the end of the day, you know, a wonder goal. And you're right. And I know, like, the managers turned around and said, "Oh, they didn't deserve to win it." You know what I mean? He's being kind and all that. Like, well, we didn't deserve to lose it, but we didn't deserve to win it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I feel that was a little bit of a disappointment for me under the manager. But I've seen different things at home. I've seen a struggle against teams like Nottingham Forest and Leeds in the past. We've drawn to Everton's, we've drawn to Crystal Palaces. We've struggled against teams that are coming up in the Premier League. You know, and as I said earlier on in the pod, that, you know, we played Wolves first game of the season. We couldn't. He felt that he couldn't do that without Saka and Rice. A year on, we're playing a similar sort of side for us, probably even better than Wolves, and we've got no Saka, and we decide that he can leave out Rice. So there is changes in it. Like, I think Sunday.
Give it to us.
Tells you everything about the manager.
So, what do you think he's going to do? What would your starting 11 be against Man City?
My starting, and it's 50-50 with Saliba or
commit to it, Lee. Come on, man. Put your gaffer head on. I've seen the Waltham
Right,
Abbey.
okay.
I've seen that lot.
I'm gonna go Timber at right back. Obviously, Raya in goal. I'm going to go with Mosquera at right back. Right central defence, and Gabriel. I'm going to go with it, and I'm going to go with Calafiori at left back. That's my three. My midfield is going to be Rice, Zubamendi, and Wanyeri, Eze, Gyokeres, and Madawaki. I can't get
Madawaki.
can't sing that song like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Either, like, you know. So I'm going to go Madawaki as on the right hand side.
On the right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Marino coming in for Gyokeres if things are going well. If we're chasing, Martinelli going down the centre.
I think Gyokeres has been absolute. I will not have one bad word said about Gyokeres. I have loved watching him in this team. He's presenting problems, Lee, that we never had before. He should have finished a couple chances. One in particular, he should have buried. I do think the gash on his head, you probably couldn't see it in the stadium, Lee, but it was. You've probably seen the pictures now. He had, that was a gash. That wasn't just a cut. That was, and don't tell me that doesn't, right on the back of his head right here.
Right, okay,
and it was about this long and that thick. You could see, like, it was gushing from his head, the blood. And I was shocked that he actually stayed on. And that guy's a baller. What a baller Gyokeres is. And you could see so desperate to just like do well, play well. And a lot of people are saying, well, if his boy Kai Havertz was fit, he'd be starting. Well, here's another problem then. Here's another great problem. People acting like Kai Havertz has been utterly shit for us. It's just crazy to me. Like, people just don't get his game at all. He's the most misunderstood player in the Premier League ever, I think. You know? So what do you see with Gyokeres, Lee, and stuff?
I see a player that's not quite ready yet. I think that there's flaws in his game at this moment in time, and I'll tell you where the flaws are. It goes up to him sometimes, and it don't stick. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the difference when Havertz is up there, it sticks. But there's more of a goal threat with Gyokeres than there is with Havertz. I see Thierry Henry criticising his run and everything like that. It wasn't great, but I don't think he's quite at it at this moment in time. Like, you know what I mean? Someone said to me yesterday, and I totally agree with him. Like, you know, I mean, Mike from Cardiff said it. Like, you know, that he just feels that, you know, if you was in the shower with Gyokeres, you go, wow, what fantastic body he's got. Like, you know? But he's
over.
In
prison? What are we talking about?
I'm not sure if Mike was with his wife. So, but I get his. But he feels he's a little bit carrying a little bit too much weight, and I know that ain't the case. You know what I mean? Like, but it looks like a little bit too. Sometimes you can be a little bit bulky. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so maybe you just need. And I think that maybe.
But when you see him with his shirt off when he celebrated with Porto, the dude's cut. He just looks awkward.
Exactly. And so I don't know if it is or it's not, like, you know. So maybe, but you know, the game time will come and all that. Just get a little bit sharper. He's not as sharp as he should be. That's because he's not had the full season in training. That's down to the club not spending the extra couple of minutes. Should have got that done a little bit earlier, in my opinion. That's if you said to me, what is your criticism of the transfer window? We didn't get him in early enough. That is my thing, like, you know.
He's having a better start than these two.
Listen,
than Sesko and Wirtz.
Well, listen, this you know what I mean? Like, Gyokeres has got more criticism than Wirtz has got, who's £120 million or 115 million pound signing. That when they're playing up against 10 men and desperate for it, they're taking him off. They took him off again today. They took him off every single game so far. But nothing. He's getting nowhere near the same heat as a 70 million pound bargain centre forward, if in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, no one's saying anything about him. And do you know why the Liverpool fans are quickly jumping on, Gyokeres is going to be a failure and everything like that? Because they know deep down that they're worried about him being a failure or whatever. Like, let's take the heat on Arsenal. I tell you what, Gyokeres can take it. And he will come good. He will come good. And I don't know if he's going to...
he's already scored 3 goals.
Yeah, and everybody's turned around and said against teams that he should score against. Well, we weren't scoring those goals against those sort of teams.
No, we weren't. Season. I mean, that's his job, Lee. His job is to score goals. I don't care if he looks fancy on the pitch. I really don't. And you know what? Who was it who said? Someone said it really perfectly. Maybe it was someone on ESPN FC, where it's like there's so much perfection around this Arsenal team that Gyokeres is almost imperfect, but he gives this balance to the squad and offers something that is just unique and that we haven't had in years, or at least since Oba. I mean, Oba was pretty on the eye football wise and stuff like that, but I like that I like his characteristics, Lee, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, I mean, he wants to score goals. The other thing is, he goes physical against central defenders, which that can give, I mean, for instance, does Martinelli get that goal if the centre half ain't been bashed around all game? We don't know. But he's been bashed around by Gyokeres all game, like, you know what I mean? Like, so you don't know what he's tired and whatever, like, so you don't know that. The thing is, Havertz is the same, I mean, not great on the eye, but does the job and whatever. And I think that's what it is with him as well. Like, maybe he ain't great on the eye. He's not the silky skilled player that we all expect and all that, like, but like, it is Haaland. I'm not comparing him with Haaland, like, but you can go back to a lot of centre forwards like that are not, you know what I mean? Like,
I keep bringing up Kevin Davies. I don't know why he keeps coming into my head. The old Bolt,
listen, Giroud was
awkward.
Was awkward at times, but had a lovely little touch. Maybe we're used to that sort of little bit of finesse and all that, like. But at the end of the day, he's more of a goal scorer. Listen, he will come good. Do I think he might score on Sunday? I'm not 100% sure. But at the end of the day, I know that when we're playing the lesser teams at home, that he's going to get the goals. And that I'm sitting there on Saturday, right, not panicking after 20 minutes. Going, oh, we're never going to break this team. I was last season, the season before. It looks like we're, something's going to happen, whether he's involved in it or not. And that's what you want. As you say, why people are criticising him 3 goals in 4 games. I've even heard someone turn around and say one's a penalty. Harry Kane's got like about, someone said on the telly today, I think he's got about 50 penalties, Harry Kane. Does it say like Harry Kane, 250 goals? Oh, by the way, 50 of them are penalties. Does it? How's like?
Lee, it's because he's our guy. You know it and I know it. And also we both know that if Sesko was our player right now, and he was having the start to this. Oh, it would just be awful. Awful. Right. Okay. So it has been epic. What is your prediction for the game this weekend?
I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think 1-0 to the Arsenal. I've got a horrible feeling that he's going to go a little bit negative in it and play that 3 in midfield again. And that worries me if he does that for the, you know what I mean? When people will go, they want Mikel out and all that, like, listen, I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is if he does go with that midfield, I look at that and go, it's going to take something special to get us over the line in the league. And I think if you're going with that attitude, I don't think that's going to get us over the line in the league. I don't think that we'll win the league this season with that attitude. I think we've got to be a little bit more braver and a little bit more at home. And for me, Sophie, you know what I mean? Like you get the result on Sunday, you're virtually kicking them out of the title race. Like, you know what I mean? Because the chances are Liverpool will be 9 points in front of, like they will be 9 points in front. You see what they've done today. So Liverpool will be 9 points in front of Manchester City, and there'll be 6 points in front of us, right? So a draw ain't going to be great for us as well. We've got to be positive in this game. We've got to show that we're. Do you know what I mean? I don't care you're 6 points in front of us, and we're playing against one of our title rivals. We're going to go there and we're going to put you to the sword. I think that we'll win. I think we'll win 1-0. But I think it's going to be a cagey game.
Brilliant stuff from Mr. Judges. I think that this is going to be that. You remember that match where Airport Albert managed because Mikel was banned, and we bossed them at home. We were electric that day.
Yes.
It was, and then they equalised. Right? We should have won that game 2-1. Right? Did we? Yeah, it was a 2-2. Yeah, we ended up losing 2-1. Correct.
Yeah. Dive for a penalty.
We were brilliant that day. Brilliant. And we owe them. And I know everyone's going to be, Foden's back in form, played one bloody good game in the Manchester derby. Haaland definitely looks sharp. He looks lean. He looks ready to roll. Reinders has gone off the boil a little bit. I still think they're finding their feet. Can we score past Donnarumma? That is going to be.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
Because we couldn't score past him in the semi-final of the Champions League. For me, Donnarumma is the man to beat, because I think we can beat their outfield players. But can we beat Donnarumma, who's a beast, man? Beast.
He is. But, little Declan Rice free kick or something like that,
We should definitely do that. Right. Lee's been brilliant. Lee, what have you got coming up? What's going on in your world?
Do you know what? I've obviously doing the Forever Arsenal at the moment. Like, me and Dan will get something done over the next day or so. I'm pretty sure. Like, and and it's like busy. Like, off to of course the Emirates. Then it's a busy week next week because I've got to go up to the Emirates game, obviously on the Sunday, and then Wednesday's Port Vale, and then all come back and then go all the way back up to Newcastle on the Sunday. So it's a busy time. And then I think we've got a Champions League game on a Tuesday. So at this moment in time, it's game after game, and I love it. You know what I mean?
Brilliant.
Especially when Arsenal winning and playing like that, it's fantastic. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes, and Reggie, we will. It's been too long, so we'll try and do something at least once a month with Lee, so you guys could get your Lee fix.
100%.
Yeah, we've definitely missed him, and maybe when Lee comes back, I'll tell you more about this as well. It's a Kevin Campbell Foundation event that's going to be on October the 24th, and it is going to be in association with Arsenal America, the Supporters Association, and you got Winterburn, you got Keown, you got the legend that is Paul Davis, you got Perry Groves. Look out for the info in the description of this show. But next time Lee's on, we'll talk about it a little bit more. It's going to be a great event.
I'll definitely be going to that. I went to the last one. It was fantastic.
Yeah, brilliant stuff.
Get very emotional, and and hopefully Tyrese and Sheffield United get off the winning.
Oh, it's just been painful. I just can't. I've been, because you and I, the next result after Arsenal that Lee and I look for is Sheffield United every week. And I have been so upset, honestly. But thank God they made the right decision, Lee.
Yeah. I sent him a little thing today. I'll send you it. What I've got sent, and he absolutely laughed his head off, like, you know what I mean. So I'll send you it now, like, you know.
I love it. Send it to me on WhatsApp.
I'll do it. This is what I sent him. I'll do it like we'll do it live. Just see what if you might have seen it, you might have not. But I can't do it because it could get him into a bit of trouble.
Don't do it.
So I'm just going to send it to you now, like, you know what I mean?
If it's like Kevin's WhatsApp where you got to make sure they're on mute when you open them up.
So, like, you would have got it now. Open it up, like, and he absolutely laughed his head off with it, like, you know what I mean? So,
okay, I'll take a look. That's funny.
It is
It's
funny,
good
like, you know
stuff.
what I mean?
It's good stuff. Yeah.
It's
All
good
right.
banter.
Well,
He's going to put
it's
a like,
good.
they're probably putting in
They've got
coaching.
their dad's sense of humor. There's no doubt
Ah,
about that.
mate,
They're
he has,
brilliant.
you know what I mean?
Brilliant
And
stuff.
like, I do. I follow his games religiously. Kai, I've got to mention he scored at the weekend. Like, you know what I mean? So, you know, he's doing well as well. So, you know, I follow.
I'm trying to get him on because you know he comes on the show. We do shows together. I'm trying to get him on before the City game because you know they both support City.
Yeah, they
both
like, you know, they give it to me and all, you know. The pair of them
they
give
do.
It to me, like, you know what I mean? They're a little bit quiet at the moment, the pair of them. But like
last season, they were very quiet.
So, but you know what I mean? Like Ty's a little bit different. I'm not suing it because I'm like, you know, got my own for like, you know. But Kai, he gives it. He gives it.
Oh yeah, he's even more like Kev on the giving shit.
Yeah,
and being a ham and winding up.
Or Evertonians, that's how I say it.
All right, Lee, thanks so much. Enjoy your Forever Arsenal recording. Look forward to seeing it when it comes out tomorrow. And we love you lots like vodka shots. And don't forget to tell your loved ones you love them, squaddies at ease. And we'll be back soon. Take care.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.